Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. I'm going to jump on this thread which was started by Scott, the Rock Scout, where he asked 15 questions. Now, I saw this yesterday, Ron Haggerty doing it, and it was only from there that I actually found Scott's channel, so subscribe to him. 15 questions. I know some of these have been asked in the past through various final tags, but I've never answered them before and I really fancy doing this. So 15 questions is set, and so I'll race through these. The first one is an album crying out for a reissue. And I'm going to pick David Bowie's Black Tie, White Noise from 1993. This here is as thin as a Rizla paper. It's not the best quality vinyl either. It was 93 whenever nobody was buying vinyl, but I would love, and it's extremely expensive to get now, like you're talking three figures. You'd be lucky if you got it for 19.95. It's usually over £100, but I would love this along with the Buddha Suburbia as well to be reissued again on vinyl. So that's my answer to question one: Black Tie, White Noise by David Bowie. A discography in my collection that's near complete. Now I'm going to talk about vinyl here, and the only album I'm missing from this band here, XTC, is None Such, and so that could also answer question two. I would actually like a reissue of it, or question one, sorry. Yeah, this here is actually Mummer, so I've got all their albums on vinyl apart from None Such from 1992. I'm not overly fussed because it is probably their worst album, but I would still like it for completion's sake, and I do have the CD, so that's number two. Number three, a great cover but a bad album. I've always loved this cover here. This is Adam Ant and Manners and Physique. I think it's an extremely cool cover, and the back of it is really cool with the two Schnauzer dogs, but what is inside is crap. It's really poor album. It's from 1990, and it's when he went all dancey and he lost the Ant sound completely. Great cover but awful album. A bad cover but a great album. This is a compilation, and this is the Best of the Seekers. Look at those trousers for being well pressed, and Judith is not showing much skin there either. It's an absolutely terrible cover, but this album is brilliant. It actually is. It's one of the first albums I ever heard, and any Seekers CD you buy will always sort of start with the same 12 tracks. I'll Never Find Another You, A World of Our Own, Carnival Is Over, Georgia Girl, Island of Dreams, Morningtown Ride. It's an absolutely fantastic album, but that cover is dreadful. Okay, a short album, and coming in at 27 minutes and 14 seconds we have the brilliant Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan. This is the one where if you bought this for the first time, being a Dylan fan, you would have think you got the wrong record in it, because he doesn't sound like Bob Dylan in this at all. He sounds like some country artist with a funny voice. But it's the one with Lay Lady Lay on it, and the beautiful I Threw It All Away, and also Tell Me That It Isn't True. It's a really good album, and there's a duet with Johnny Cash, Girl from the North Country. But it is very short, as I say, 27 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay, a song that introduced me to a genre I love. That's a really tough one, and the only thing I can think of is this song here, whenever I was a kid, and this is Telegram Sam by T-Rex, and obviously it's glam rock. This actual copy is the one that my cousin had, and that I used to always go up and ask them to play, and this is before we got any T-Rex singles or we got any Slade singles, so this is probably it. He gave it to me eventually when I was about 14 or 15, but around this time I was only 6 years old. Telegram Sam by T-Rex. Okay, an album people wouldn't expect you to like. Okay, well, anybody that watches my channel knows that I do like a load of old rubbish sometimes. This one here I've never shown. And this is Foster and Allen, A Bunch of Time. Now anybody in the UK will know that these two guys had a hit in 1982 with the title track, and they were all dressed up in their Irish garb on Top of the Pops, and they look so out of place. But I actually do quite like these ones, especially the early stuff. There's a couple of albums that are pretty good. This is a really, really good album. It is traditional Irish folk for the masses, let's put it that way, for the masses. For the old women, the old blue rinsed hair women will love this, and me and my brother actually went to see them live in the mid-80s, and we were the youngest in the crowd by a mile, but I do like them. Who cares? And as I say, this is great. Like The Blacksmith is fantastic, Nancy Miles is a wonderful song, Courting in the Kitchen, The Fiddler, it's all good fun. It's just a good fun album. So Bunch of Time, Foster and Allen. Most anticipated album of 2020. There's two albums. One is the new Sparks album, but the one I'm really looking forward to the most is a new album by these three girls, Haim, and it's called Women in Music 3. It was supposed to have been released I think in June, but now it's been put back to August, and I suppose depending on how this COVID-19 disease goes, it may be put back even further. But I've heard the singles from it. There's been 3 or 4 tracks dropped over the past 6 months, and they're all fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that. Women in Music 3 by Haim. A band or artist I was late to the party with, and without a shadow of a doubt, that was one of the easiest ones. Led Zeppelin. I didn't own any Led Zeppelin at all until about 2 or 3 years ago, whenever I got back into vinyl. And I did actually start buying the CDs as well, but I was getting them for £1 a piece, and if I liked it I went and got the vinyl. So no, the only Led Zeppelin I ever heard was Led Zeppelin 4, and I only knew about 2 or 3 songs off it. But friends were saying to me you should really listen to them, they're really good. And so I looked on YouTube, and actually the song that made me decide to go and buy some Led Zeppelin was Achilles' Last Stand from the Presence album. But this year I got for Christmas about 2 years ago, Led Zeppelin 3. It's a good album, a bit folkier than the other ones, but still excellent. An album I play on a regular basis, and I'm going to pick this one, Vampire Weekend, and this is Contra. I love their 4 albums, but this is the one, and Modern Vampires of the City, that I would play the most. Now I've shown Modern Vampires of the City about 1600 times on my channel, so I thought I would give this one a show. Yeah, White Sky, Holiday, all brilliant. Cousins, Run, Contra, absolutely fantastic album. I really can't speak highly enough about this band. They're really, really good. Okay, an album, £10 or less. Well, I got this for a £5, and it was actually a record store day release, and it sat on the shelves of my local record store for about 2 years, and it was sitting at something like £16, and I said to Johnny, "How much will you sell that for?" And he says, "How much will you give?" And I said, "I'll give you a £5 for it." And he says, "Done." And it's Elton John versus, is it Now or Now? Good Morning to the Night. This is like a mashup album. It's alright, you know, but I would only play it a couple of times and I'll probably never play it again. But for a £5, it's pretty good. And on the internet you get it really between £10 and £15. It's not the biggest of sellers, although this did really well when it was released in the charts, I think. Or when it was first released in 2012, I think this got to #1 in the charts. So not a bad album. First and last in the collection, well, I'm going to go for CDs this time. And the first CD, I actually bought 2 CDs at the one time. I can't show one of them because I can't find it. It's about somewhere. And one is Paul McCartney's Ram, and the other one was Donovan's Fairy Tale. Now I bought these in 1991. So this is before the reissues in 93, obviously. And you see the track listing, and the actual numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all in little boxes. All the early CDs had that. I wonder why that was. If anybody knows why the track listings were always in little boxes, please put down below, because I had no idea why that is. But yeah, the very first CD I bought, along with Donovan's Fairy Tale, and the last CD I bought was a couple of weeks ago, and this is Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott's Manchester Calling, and this is a really good album. This is their fourth album. When you first hear it, you think, oh god, it sounds exactly the same as the last, but it doesn't. It's actually really, really good, and it's much better than their third, which was called, I can't remember the name of it. No, it's gone, but it was the most disappointing one, but this is really, really good. Okay, album that changed my opinion of a band or an artist. God, that was a really tough question. And I'm going to go with this band. They've only ever had 2 albums. I only ever liked 2 of their singles, but whenever I got back into buying vinyl, everything looked really, oh, that's a vinyl LP, I'm going to buy that. Everything was so attractive looking to buy, and you ended up selling half of it again because half of it was rubbish. But this band, this really shocked me how good this was, and this is the Fine Young Cannibals, The Raw and the Cooked. One of the singles I really loved was She Drives Me Crazy, whereas the other single I really liked was Johnny Come Home, which was on their first album. This is a fantastic album. This is from 1989. It was one of the best albums of that year. Good Thing, I'm Not the Man I Used to Be, I'm Not Satisfied, Don't Look Back, Ever Fallen in Love. It's a really, really strong album, and I really do like that band, and I've since bought their Greatest Hits CD. Okay, one album I'd save in a fire. That's an easy one. I'd save the favourite album of all time, and that's Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. Perfection. I just think it's the perfect album. Love it to bits. I've 4 copies of it. I don't care which one I'd grab for the fire. If I was in a fire, I'd just grab one of them, and that's it. And lastly, a debut album from 1986. And this is the House Martins. This is Paul Heaton again. London Nil, Hull 4, which is a really good album. In fact, the 2 House Martins albums are great. I prefer the second one actually. Most people prefer this one, but yeah, good album from 1986. Has Happy Hour on it, Sheep, the brilliant We're Not Deep, and Get Up Off Our Knees, and Think for a Minute. Very good album. Okay, so there's the 15 questions. So I'll leave a link to Scott's channel below. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. Be safe everybody. All the best now. Bye bye.